Okay.
I think we are. So close
Yeah. Okay. All right. So maybe Ted has not been twiddling the right knobs again. Maybe. Yes. Maybe.
Can I skip?
You can skip that. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, one and all. Welcome to the weekly live stream. The craziness, things happening on the interwebs. Let's start with the usual instruction, which is that if you want a question answered, you should suffix it with a capital Q, preferably followed immediately by a colon, then your question, and then a question mark. That makes it easier for Ted to find the questions and pass them on to Her Majesty Pym, Queen of Pirates, who has this week been doing all sorts of crazy shit, am I right?
Depends on how you define crazy shit.
Right. Tell us all about your crazy shit.
Well, for those who were here last week, you know that I had my last drink and eat just after the live stream. And I was supposed to go 7 days, but I didn't feel great yesterday, so I broke my dry fast after 6 days, no eating, no drinking. So now I've been drinking stuff the last day.
6 days, no food, no water, no nothing.
And I got a pimple.
A pimple? You got a disability. Bro, you got a disability. It's just like a pimple.
Yeah, and I broke it.
Yeah. Bro, you're beached. Heaps beached.
Yes. 6 days.
All right, so tell us about it a bit. How did it get to? How did it feel by the end? All of that.
The first 3 days were fine. I wasn't very thirsty. I was quite hungry though, but I can deal with that. It's worse when your mouth is so dry that you can't think of anything else. During day 4, that's when I started having an annoyingly dry mouth. I don't think there was anything specific, anything major going on at that time. Yeah, it was day 4 when I had some tenderness all over my muscles a little bit, like under my shoulder blade for some reason. That went away. Day 5. I would have to look at my notes, or you can go to my channel where I'm going to release some shorts on what happened each day, because my memory is not very good right now, what happened which day. But day 5, I think I was a bit annoyed at the dry mouth as usual, but like bodily I felt quite good, so that wasn't a problem. But day 6, first of all, I didn't manage to sleep more than about 2 hours. I got some headache actually, and I felt a bit nauseated by the end of day 5, probably because I started getting some post-nasal drip. So all of this is probably a good thing, but I didn't feel good. It's probably a good thing because something is happening with my sinuses, which is the thing that I'm trying to heal. But then I had like a racing heart as soon as I was standing up, and I felt quite dizzy. So I decided to break the fast early.
Yep, I think it was a good call.
Yeah, so I heard so. I'm hoping that it was the right decision.
Yeah. Ted's just telling me to take down the name of Master Chief Burgess. Sneaking in after class has begun. Master Chief. Report to Ted afterwards. Right, let's have some questions and things.
Yes, we do have one question.
Yes.
Well, there's more one that I've seen.
Yes.
How long does full fat adaptation take? Does having a cheat meal derail having to start the whole process again?
Full adaptation can be a lengthy process of 6 to 12 months, give or take. How long's a piece of string? It is quite a biological transition from using largely carbohydrate to using largely fat. It's not a straight line over that period. You do most of the adaptation at the front, but the last bit takes a lot longer. Does having a cheat meal derail? No, not really. A cheat meal, any one single thing you do on any one day, so long as it's not eating bags of cyanide, probably isn't the be-all and end-all. You were reacting to something that you saw there just now.
Yes.
Go on.
The invisible penis better make an appearance this time.
Ah, well, we can make that happen. Yes.
I thought you had forgotten.
I did forget, but we can make it happen.
Because I don't see it. I was like,
no,
where is it?
it's still in hiding, but we can get it. I can send Ted off to to scurry off and find it for me.
Very good. Did you say the capital Q thing?
I did say that, yes,
Yeah, I
but
think you did.
whether people listen to that or whether they don't.
Well, I don't see any questions. There's a lot of talking, but this might have been before we even started, so I have some shit to scroll through.
I see.
While you deciding to go invisible yourself.
Invisible professor.
Right. I found the questions. Shall we do the question?
Oh, yes, well, why not? Let's.
If oxidation is loss of electrons, what is glycation? Loss, gain, something else. Thank you.
Yes, glycation is the addition chemically of a sugar molecule to. Sorry, Fluff. Messing around with your bed, like so. Is the addition of sugar to something like a protein or a fat structure that has a sugar molecule chemically appended to it. And if you have enough of those happening, it interferes with the function of those organs, tissues and things, and it can be a problem.
Yes.
Yes.
Is casein powder just as garbage as whey powders?
Mostly. You don't need that shit. Hello, Carnivore Club, by the way.
Yeah, I told. Well, he has another question, which I've already told you about how gross it is.
Right.
How bad are carbs when the Randall cycle is resolved? So a low, no-fat diet.
If the intake of carbohydrate total plus protein total is such that you are not, in effect, consuming more mass of carbon skeleton substrates than are being oxidized and thus released from the body, then the Randall cycle will not be an issue. It's only when you have excess so-called energy, which is actually excess mass, coming in.
Good.
So carbs, absolutely you can live on nothing but carbs and a bit of protein for a while. It won't be good for you long term because of glycation and stuff. It is a diet that is destitute in nutrients required by human beings, the kind of nutrients that you can find only in animal products. But you won't die immediately. It would take a number of years. Not a good idea. You'll be unhealthy in the meantime.
Yeah, and you're going to fuck up your hormones at some point, probably. And if we ask Harry, he would say you will get too much deuterium.
Right.
Stop reading.
I'm just noticing that Master Chief has noticed that Shell has snuck in after class began as well. So there's at least 2 for Dusters, meeting up with Ted after class.
Would you ever eat fried mealworms?
I wouldn't personally, no.
Nope. They're fucking gross and they should be eaten by birds and reptilians.
Yeah. Insects and insectalia and that kind of stuff, spiders and creepy crawly things and whatever else, are not appropriate food for human beings for the most part, especially those that have some kind of chitosan skeletal, exoskeleton, because that's not good stuff. Plus they also host certain bacteria that are vastly unhelpful to human health, which may or may not be a problem from time to time.
But why does it feel like glass in your mouth when you drink water after fasting for a while?
Glass? Oh, you mean that sharp, painful sensation that you can get in your mouth? I get that too if I've been fasting for a bit. I'm told variously by various individuals that it is a respiratory burst occurring in the mitochondria of the lining of your mouth, occurring in response to the sudden input of food that hasn't been happening for a while. You know the thing too, you get that too, don't you?
I got it once after my 3-day dry fast, but I did start chewing real food quickly. When I did it after my 5-day dry fast, I didn't get it, but then I was drinking a lot. But I've heard or read that it's an electrolyte imbalance issue. So we have a super chat. You're very distracted right now.
Am I?
Yes, you're like looking at everything or every screen, reading everything. Are you listening?
I'm just fully immersing myself in the experience.
If a person is unwilling or unable to eat sufficient amounts of meat, are there good amino acid supplements available as a substitute?
Hello, the Carnivore chiropractor. Thank you for the $16.99 New Zealand dollars, Pacific pesos.
good.
Like it. You would have to make sure that a person is taking in all the essential amino acids in the right balance on a daily or at least on a weekly basis. It would be a lot of planning, but yes, it's possible. However, that would miss many of the fat-soluble things that you get from animal products that you won't get from amino acid supplements.
Very good.
Yes.
And Harry says taurine.
Yes, taurine,
Just had to put that in there.
No singing.
Yes, I'm actually in a good mood today because I actually have fucking energy for once. And I'm not cold as ice, which is really nice.
You're as cold as ice.
Yeah, I bet
No
there's
singing.
been like ice in my veins the last few days. Did you exercise through these 6 days? If you count the walking, then yes. If not, then no. I didn't do any real exercise, just walking every day except for the last day. And the last... So, which day was it when we walked around Rough Island? That was quite a long walk. That was rough. And then the day after. So, yeah, probably day 4 and 5 I started to feel quite exhausted. But then day 4 I walked much longer than I usually do. I usually go for an hour's walk. And I think day 5 my hour's walk probably took an hour and a half. Because I was so fucking tired. What are the most likely reasons that someone's urinalysis SG is high despite good hydration practices and normal blood serum electrolyte levels?
Please spell it out for me, Jonathan. SG? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Exactly. Spell it out for us. Thank you, team.
Yes, spell it out quickly.
Don't use TLAs or 2-letter acronyms or 4-letter acronyms. Please use English words. Thank you.
Yes, I'm keeping my eye on that chat to see if he responds.
We
But
love us some
meanwhile-
Jonathan up in here, by the way, don't we?
Yes, of course.
It's good value. Everybody that's not subbed to Carnivore Muscle, Jonathan's channel, make sure you get that done today.
Yes, I also have some footage, an interview with Jonathan coming out once I have got to edit it.
Nice.
Which I was going to do 2 days ago, and I was just too tired,
Yeah.
so my brain was just like, nah, I can't be fucked.
Fair play.
Standard gravity.
Go on. I too have many things coming up that have been recorded that are currently in editing, including a discussion I had this week with Andrew Kaufman. That was interesting. What else is coming up? I've got a video regarding our friend Lame Norton coming up in a few days. That'll be good. Bunch of other things as well.
Right, so shall we answer this question?
Yeah, go on. Well, we could when we get the answer to what's
I told
SG.
you what it was.
What is it?
Standard gravity.
All right. Okay.
Pay attention.
What are the most likely reasons that can occur? Maybe the person is having issues with their kidney function, potentially. Maybe despite the intake of fluids, etc., electrolytes, etc., maybe sweating has been excessive because of activity levels, ambient temperature, that sort of thing.
I'm wondering, because it's Jonathan asking, is this a person who's actually actively eating a lot of protein, building a lot of muscle, breaking down muscle, building muscle? Like, I'm wondering if that could...
that could potentially have an effect too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. I'm the dry fasting queen now. I'm not the pirate queen anymore.
Well, you can be lots of things. I'm lots of things. I have
I'm
lots of
queen
titles.
of every fucking thing.
There you go. Pim, queen of everything.
We got a super chat.
Yay. We like super chat.
Apparently I can't.
Message
It's
retracted.
been retracted. Someone didn't want to super chat anymore. Fuck you then.
But thanks for the money.
Now my chat is stuck. Well, if it's retracted and I can't click on it, did you still get the money?
Yeah.
Why did you retract the message then?
Maybe...
I don't even think there was a message, so I don't know what you retract.
I don't know.
Or did you two retract it?
Maybe it was a retraction of the invisible penis.
Oh, fuck. Are you going to sing as well?
At some point.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Permission for singing.
Only that one.
Uh-huh.
Because that's not in B flat, so it's okay.
Uh-huh. I see.
Can you do carnivore on only seafood?
I wouldn't.
Seafood.
Yeah, CEA food. No, I wouldn't do that. I would base your carnivore diet on the muscle meats and associated fats of large ruminant animals, plus or minus eggs, plus or minus dairy, salt, water, cereal products. What else? That's about it.
I don't know.
Cereal products aren't really food, though. They're nutraceuticals. Oh, by the way, just for an announcement, just because why not? Looking for a number of folks, let's say 5 to 10 folks who have been thinking about being a cerebral IBO but haven't yet had the gumption to actually do so. If you let me know via email in the next 24 hours or so that you're interested in doing that, what I'm after is 5 to 10 people to join as IBOs on a 3-product fast start pack in the next 48 hours. And if I get 5 or 10 of you, then one of you will get a large cash prize from me with love.
With love.
Existing IBOs, etc., and customers, etc. There will be deals for you coming up too.
Just had to put this up because it's funny.
Yep.
Sucks days.
Yeah, sucks days.
I get called out on that all the time here in Oz, lol, especially calling players to pool tables in competition pool. Table sucks on 7, causing an uproar and my mic drop, lol.
Yeah. Bro, you're beached. Beached as.
Table sucks.
Table sucks. Hey, Stingray, bro. Yeah.
Funny as fuck.
Yeah. Right.
What's your take on people with liver cirrhosis on a carnivore diet? Can it help in some way? I've read some studies that they were able to reverse it.
Yes. Yeah. It is a possibility that liver cirrhosis can be ameliorated or helped.
Possibility.
It's a possibility.
Speak properly.
It's a possibility. Yes. I would suggest that a combination of those 5 things on that 5 health hacks video on my channel would be good. So we're talking carnivore diet, the 3 main cereal products religiously on a daily basis, ground yourself electrically as much of the time as possible, block out blue light from your eyes after dark, and get 3 or 4 sessions of high intensity burst and repeat and or resistance training, 45 minutes or so per session each week.
Very good.
Yes.
If I have a question, do I have to buy since I pay monthly on Patreon? Do injure your bones? Do injure your bones? I did fast each week 3 days, broke my femoral stem,
Ouch.
had anterior hip replacement, gained 5 titanium.
Right.
Something.
Cool. Nobody pays to ask questions on the live streams here on a Saturday evening US time or afternoon US time and Sunday morning our time. All questions are free. We do appreciate the super chats though. It keeps the lights on and it allows us to pay Ted's exorbitant appearance fees. Plus, obviously, we have to pay Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates, in some way. Something. Who knows? Who knows? Right. I'm not sure what the question is because it's a bit garbled there, unfortunately. Right. Do injure your bones. Do what injure your bones?
I have no idea.
If you're asking if carnivore injures your bones, no. Or does fasting injure your bones? Only if you fast too long, like months and months and months, perhaps. And other things would need to be in place to cause osteopenia, osteoporosis as well. You broke your femoral stem. That's terrible. That's one of the worst things that you can do. And you had hip replacement. Okay, cool. Right, I'd suggest those 5 health hacks ongoingly for you.
Right,
Yes.
so shall we try some super chats again?
Yeah.
They have not been retracted. What is the amount of protein per kilo of lean body mass?
Right. I suggest that a good starting place for most people is 2 grams of protein per lean kilogram of body mass. So if you are an averagely built person without too much obvious adipose tissue, you can probably just use your mass. If you want to be more exacting, you can use your height in meters multiplied by itself, and then the answer to that multiplied by 22.5. That would assume that you are of European descent rather than African, Asian, or anything else. It would also assume that you're not obese and that you're not a hypertrophy athlete.
Stop checking off the invisible penis.
If you are a hypertrophy athlete, who is it that's distracted?
Your hands.
Attention straight to the cock, isn't it? Straight to the cock she goes. Goodness gracious. Pay attention to the questions. If you're a hypertrophy athlete, then use your actual mass at sort of normal mass without too much fat and without too little. Also, if you're a hypertrophy athlete, a muscle building athlete, perhaps stop doing that. I had a very interesting chat, one of those ones that's coming up, with Revival Fitness, who has a large YouTube channel regarding being large and muscular, among other things. And he agreed with me that it was a bad idea. So, there you go.
What was a bad idea?
Being a hypertrophy athlete.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah, he knows as well.
Yeah.
He knows as well as the next person. Yeah.
So what does he revive in his fitness?
Don't know. I didn't ask him that.
Silly.
Mainly he was asking me things.
Rude.
Not really, it was the plan.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Let's take another super chat.
Yay.
Then. Thank you very much. What do you think of eating bacon, pork, chicken, which seems to contain some linoleic acid?
Yes, the linoleic acid that you will find in animal foods it seems to be much less problematic than plant-based polyunsaturates, and it seems to be due to a deuterium balance issue, perhaps. That's our guess on it. It just doesn't seem to be an issue in the way that plant-based, seed-based industrial oils absolutely do seem to be.
Yes, that's a very interesting way of looking at it.
Yes. I mean, the jury's out on this. There are still people saying this, that, and the other thing about it.
People always say this, that, and this and that.
They do.
Right, another super chat.
Yay.
If HIIT on a cycle smart trainer doing shorter intervals and rest gets HR into MHR faster. What's MHR? Okay. More consistent and higher in zone than longer intervals and rest, are they as useful?
Okay. What's MHR?
Maximum heart rate, maybe?
Could be.
Probably must be.
Yeah, okay, let's say it's maximum heart rate. Please don't use these 3 and 4 letter and 2 letter acronyms, folks. Please spell out what it is you want to know about. There are many, many things in the universe. Many things. As useful in what regard? All training is specific to mode and intensity. There is some crossover, sure, but much less than most people think. I hope that makes sense. If you want to be effective and fit at very high intensity, then train at very high intensity. If you want to train at moderate intensity, please don't. That's a bad idea.
Yes, max heart rate. Run out of character, sorry.
Yeah, no, well, okay.
Is there a max for
there is on
Super
Super
Chats?
Chats, yes.
That's
yep.
ridiculous.
Yep.
If you do run out of it right after you post a Super Chat, just post another one and I will find that comment right after if
Yes.
we need to find them.
All right. Well, that's taking on extra work, isn't it? Or
Well, if they appear just on there, that's fine.
Increase the value of your Super Chat and that gives you more letters.
Does it?
It does, yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
And YouTube loves that because they take a third of all the Super Chats.
Of course.
We like them here, though, because they're good for public relations and stuff and, all of that. So,
Very nice.
Yeah. So we appreciate your Super Chats, or at least 2/3 of them we appreciate. Ted takes most of that, of course.
The other third can go fuck itself.
Right, yes. So once again, this week we will not be getting advertising revenue from YouTube. Because of...
I thought you were allowed to say fuck.
Well, yeah, but if you say it enough times, they tend to go,
Oh.
Yeah. Fuck, fuckity fuck. Invisible
Okay,
penis.
I think you just won.
Invisible penis. Do, do, do.
That's not even the right song. No.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to get sympathy comments, I'm sure.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Shall we do the question?
Yeah, why not? Okay.
Torn ACL.
Yep.
Does the carnivore diet help post-surgery healing?
Possibly, and also Sorul products would be very good. And please don't use 3-letter acronyms.
You know what ACL is, though.
That one's obvious because torn ACL only really has one context. Yeah, that could possibly be. Yes, absolutely. Carnivore would be helpful, I would suggest. Sorul products, earthing, grounding, if you like to call it that, and the rest.
Right. I don't like the way Paul Mason muddies the message on cholesterol by talking about oxidized LDL and fluffy LDL, but is he right?
No, he isn't on that particular account. No. There are no lipoproteins or apolipoproteins, nor lipids carried by those apolipoproteins and lipoproteins that play a causal role in atherosclerosis, heart disease, in any way, shape, or form. The whole theology is false from the ground up. It's absolute nonsense. There is no place for it in competent talking about heart disease etiology. It is not to do with lipids at all. There's a video on my channel about it called Heart Disease Solved! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It's good. Covers it quite well, I think.
Very good.
Good. Thank you, Michael.
Have you looked into Darko Velcek, mainly talking about his take on plasma salty water for detoxing the body?
I have not.
Do you know anything about it?
Well, the one thing I know about detoxing your body is it does that by itself normally and naturally. The liver is the primary organ involved in doing so. And so long as your electrolyte levels are in range for normal physiological function, that'll be fine. You don't need to be guzzling a whole bunch of salt water to achieve this goal. Yeah.
Can chronic inflammation from a tailbone injury stall fat burning? Been on carnivore for about 3 years, lost 60 pounds, but still have belly fat.
There are a lot of things that can contribute to apparent plateauing of fat loss. Chronic inflammation is one of those things, if that's what's going on. So in answer to your question, yes, sure, possibly, but specifically for you, the best thing to do is probably to consult with me for an hour so that we can actually get your history and see if we can work it out for ourselves, what's going on for you, and hopefully restart your fat loss journey if that's what's needed.
Very nice.
Yes.
Advice for new IBO that doesn't have a big social media following.
Right, yes. Okay, so that for those who don't know, IBO refers to independent business owner. It's a person who is a member of the Sorul marketing team who has the right to on-sell product themselves as well as to purchase it for their own use, and also to recruit others to do the same if that's what they want to do as well. My advice would be to start a social media channel or a series of channels on various platforms yesterday.
Oh.
Or given that you didn't, today is, I suppose, the nearest option to yesterday that you can achieve. So I'd do that. I would then book an appointment with me using my usual, Calendly link to speak with me for an hour or so behind the scenes to give you some specific, here's how to get things rolling, here's what to say, here's what not to say, this will work, this won't work, I've found, etc., and start building that influence. I would also say that for anyone that's at all interested in being a Sorul IBO, given that promotion that I've outlined today, I'd get onto that today and let me know. Well, let me know that you want to get onto it, and I'll give you specific, explicit instructions on how to take advantage of that potential of that cash prize. But in general, 4 bits of advice for people in Sorul. Number 1, have a wellness pack of the 3 core products yourself on order on a monthly basis. Number 2, don't pay for that. Make sure you're getting it for free under 3 and free rules, which I can explain to anybody behind the scenes who wants to hear about them. Basically, though, it boils down to 3 customers purchasing the same wellness pack will get you yours for free. So I don't want you paying for it. All right? Number 3 is to find people who see the value in what you're doing and the ease of building an income that way and who want to do the same thing. Tell them, basically what you do is you have a wellness pack on auto ship and don't pay for it. And then number 4 is train them to do what you're doing, to train others to do what you did, so that your whole volume and your whole business explodes out of all comprehension. Within just a few years, you can end up earning well into 6 figures income.
Sucks, you mean?
6 figures income. It's very possible. I know. Right, what's next?
What's next is that Ted apparently loves mealworms.
Does he?
Did he not tell you?
He tells me lots of things into my shell-like
that
ear.
you ignore.
Well, I provide my own audio, so whatever Ted says, it doesn't really matter because I hear what I want to hear. It's the same with when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I know. Bart, is steak and eggs steak is what you're supposed to have for your breakfast?
Delicious.
You don't have breakfast though.
Eggs and steak and steak and egg.
That one is not allowed to be sung from my ear.
Just making sure you heard.
Sing the fucking invisible penis.
Invisible penis. Invisible penis. This is an invisible penis. There you go.
Have you forgot the actual song? Jesus.
I take poetic license. It's my song.
But I'm not going to sing it, so haha. How come some people need lots of salt and others, me, need to quit salt to avoid edema?
It depends on the balance of function of all your various organs as to what your electrolyte levels are, including your intestines, your renal function, a whole bunch of other things, like your body mass can play into that, your adiposity level, genetics, the situation in which you place those genetics at any given time. It's a rich tapestry. Everyone's a bit different.
I can eat shit tons of salt.
Right.
And thrive.
Now, as last week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and super intelligent teddy bears, if you can hear some noise in the background, there's nothing we can do about it. It's rain. It's pissing down again. Must be a Sunday thing. It's the rules.
Well, it pissed down all day yesterday too.
It did.
Maybe it's a weekend thing.
Maybe.
But since I didn't feel great, I was laying on the sofa all day.
Yes, you were.
And moving between the sofa and the kitchen and feeling dizzy and stuff.
Good.
That was all I did. I was supposed to go to the butcher's, but that got cancelled. But that was your fault, because you had to drive. And you ignored me. So now we don't get any pulled pork.
Well, I do.
But you have to make it yourself.
I have to pull it myself, though, as usual.
Fucking hell.
They better. They fucking better.
If you don't get revenue on this live stream, it's not fucking my fault.
Fucking, well, maybe we'll just blame Ted. Fuck him.
Are ruminant animals really the only ones that have everything humans need? What if someone ate a non-ruminant diet of chicken, seafood, fish, shrimp, etc.?
Right, notice how most of those are very much on the white end of the spectrum. White meat doesn't contain much iron. So there you go. Straight away. Oof. There's one problem. There are many others too. Yep. Also, white meat, except for poultry, tends to be a bit too lean.
Yes.
There's two. Just
how much sun gazing is optimal? I try to aim for 30 minutes to 1 hour in the morning for the sleep-wake cycle. Is this good?
I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a good idea. If you mean looking directly at the sun, if you mean looking to the side of the sun, I still don't think that's a great idea. I think it's important that you get daylight in your eyes when the sun comes up, but there's no need to stare directly at the thing making that light. You'll find that light is bouncing around all around you. And I think it's just dumb, myself.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Any blood tests that are worth checking out and have some value?
Only if we suspect you have a specific pathology which we believe we can competently, realistically and reasonably confirm or eliminate with a specific blood test. I don't suggest that any standard routine blood tests are necessary, worthwhile, or will give you any information of utility. Alrighty.
I have no energy on this way of eating. What gives? I eat plenty of fat, I think 40% fat.
That's a consultancy discussion to see what you're eating, how long you've been doing that, what you were doing beforehand, what you're doing now. That's a rich tapestry. Many things can play into perceived energy levels.
Yes.
My consultancy link is underneath the show in the show notes.
40% fat, is that in weight or calories?
Calories, heat units.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
isn't plenty.
No.
If it's in weight, sure. That's probably enough. But not if it's in heat units.
No.
Hello from Sweden, by the way. Hey.
Hey.
Hur mår du?
Hur mår du?
How long to adapt to this way of eating? I can barely walk up the stairs.
Same response. That
Yes.
sounds like you need to consult with me to make sure that you're not doing it wrong.
And learn to do the capital Q.
Yes.
Right, where can I get one of those fine cups?
This one? You can get this from my merchandise page, which you'll also find as a link off from that bit.ly link underneath the show in the show notes.
Okay. Can carnivore help someone who cannot make dystrophin because of Duchenne muscular dystrophy?
Possibly. Maybe. I would definitely combine the carnivore diet with the largest dose of cereal products that you can get your hands on as well. I would also definitely advise those other 3 steps, obviously with caution around the exercise thing. Listen to your body a bit.
But Duchenne is genetic, isn't it?
It is, and as such, cereal products are unable to edit your genes in any way, so they won't do that. However, having excess adult stem cell resources and anti-inflammatories like Cyactive, etc., plus the carnivore diet would lead to the best likelihood of improved outcomes, I would suggest, without making any specific therapeutic claims of any kind, because we're not allowed. The FDA gets upset about it, even though they're allowed to say things that are actually bioweapons designed to kill people are safe and effective. Apparently.
Do you have supplement potassium and magnesium? I had supplement iodine because started getting symptoms of hypothyroid, but I don't want to force powders down my throat if I don't need to.
There are some pretty good electrolyte supplements available variously, including one from Cereal. Unfortunately, at this time, though, it contains an artificial sweetener, which we are working with the company to have removed. Watch the space on that one. They are wanting to work with me and my people and the carnivore community, and they are wanting to provide the product that we want to consume. There are just some steps to go through to get it happening. There are others available as well from other companies for fairness. Plus, you can make your own if you want.
Yeah. I mean, potassium and magnesium, you could make it as easy as just getting a whole bag. It doesn't even cost much of potassium chloride, another bag of magnesium sulfate if you can tolerate that. And you just put a little bit in your water and boom, done.
Yep.
If you need it.
Good.
But do you need it? I think it's overrated. I think many people just take electrolytes because they think they should, and there's no actual need for it.
Yes, indeed.
Having said that, I was really excited when Cereal was going to release electrolytes, and now I can't drink them because of sucralose.
We're working on it.
So, fuck them too.
Well, you know, as I say, they have some steps that they have to go through to be able to provide what I've asked them to provide. They are going through those steps. They are wanting to do it. Andy, one of the co-owners of the Cereal company, is absolutely on board with the need for it, and he understands what the problems are, and they are working on fixing that for us as soon as they can.
Well, I did expect them to use the same sweeteners as they have before, which is stevia.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think they've had something else. I can't. Not anything that upsets my gut microbiome anyway.
Yeah. Of course, the best thing, the safest thing is to not sweeten the product at all.
Yes, super chat.
Super chat. No fucking singing.
Indeed. I had high zinc, low iron, and low copper, strict carnivore for at least 4 months. Any tips on why this happened? Everything else has been wonderful.
According to whom, on the basis of what did you have low anything or low anything else? What were your symptomologies? What happened to your physical presentation that was less than what it should be or whatever? Next.
Post your follow-up question and I'll try to spot it.
Yes.
Easy model.
Easy mood.
Mode RL.
Yes.
Okay, is cheese addicting due to the metabolism into beta-casomorphin?
That's one theory around it. I think it sounds reasonable. I don't find cheese addictive myself personally at all.
No, I think it's very individual.
Yeah.
Some people, it's like with sugar. Some people just get addicted to sugar and some don't. I think it's possible to get addicted to it, but not necessarily for everyone. What are your thoughts on heavy metal binders like chlorella, which can bind to mercury? Is this an effective way to counteract this issue when eating fish? I mean, fish.
Fish. Or another way is to limit the amount of fish you eat. Depending, of course, on where you live in the world and where your fish is sourced from as to whether, that's going to be likely to be a huge issue or not. The problem with chlorella for me is it's one of these plant-based things that can really cause issues. As much as it can solve issues.
What issues?
Well, a lot of people react to it badly. It can strip things out that you really don't want stripped out as well. It's not like a specifically targeted thing.
You need to hand in your New Zealand card.
My New Zealand card.
Specifically.
Yes. Thank you for correcting me on speaking my native tongue. Just like you like to correct me when I butcher Swedish. She's like, no, pronounce it like this, and that's not a good sentence construction. What the fuck is that? You just made that shit up, didn't you? And that's not even a word. And stuff. Good. She's here to help.
Yes, I'm the linguistic expert.
Yeah, righto.
Not.
Yeah. Well, you speak more languages fluently than I do.
Fluently?
Yes.
Well, that's
I don't speak any languages fluently. At all.
Well, maybe I speak better English than you.
Maybe. Ask an English person.
Yes. You know what? You say Kiwi. What do you think about variable resistance training as opposed to static resistance training? I
think that it's a valid tool. I think that it has its benefits and, absolutely is something that you can throw in as a part of your program to keep your body guessing somewhat at least. Obviously, you're referring to things like the X3 bar system by John Jackish at Jackish Biomedical. There you go, John. Cha-ching! Now, perhaps you'd like to start promoting Cerule a bit more, because you are actually a registered affiliate. Did 2 videos on it some time ago, made a bunch of money in his first month, and then didn't mention it anymore, and funnily enough, less action. Come on, John. Get on with it.
Yes. Do you and Bart ever fight? Lol.
Oh, fuck. No.
What do you think?
That never happens.
Just every fucking day.
Oh, come on.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Come on. Jesus.
Is MCT oil okay to have?
Sure. As part of an overall program, you shouldn't base everything on it. It's not the answer to everything. It's just something you can put in there. Yeah.
If you have stage 4 cancer, can carnivore cure it?
Cure is a strong word. It is possible that a person can place certain cancers under certain circumstances into remission with a sensible suite of interventions, which would include a carnivore diet, yes, as part of that. It would also include a number of other things, 4 other things on my immediate list of things to do. Perhaps 5 if you add 1 or 2 of the extra bits and bobs that I would probably tend to throw in such cases. It's something that absolutely I'm available to consult with folks about and give you an opinion on. However, I don't claim to diagnose or treat anything. I just say, on the basis of what you've said, here's my opinion. And you go, thank you very much, and pay the money, and everybody's happy. Well, Ted is at that point.
Yes. Ted.
Ted's all about the money.
I think we got a super chat.
Yay, we like super chats.
Yay, euros.
We like euros too.
I have histamine issues, SIBO, and can't digest fats due to microbiome problems. I'm starving on high protein carnivore.
Yeah.
Should I add carbs?
Right.
Which ones? My doctor suggests plant-based.
Okay, well, your doctor's a fucking idiot. You need to get another doctor. Doctors also have no business as a doctor telling you anything whatsoever about nutrition. They are not trained in that. That is not their field of expertise. They should remain in their lane and remain silent about diet. Should you add carbs? No, absolutely not. Not under any circumstances should you do that, I would say. It sounds like you need a consultancy with me so that we can see if we can work through some of these issues.
Pronounce it again.
Issues.
Yes.
You have issues.
You have issues.
Or if you speak proper English, you have issues.
Issues?
Issues.
Is that the Queen's or ex-Queen's English?
Perhaps. My husband and I.
Okay, let's go to the next one. If one argues with a vegan and they say just because our ancestors ate meat doesn't mean it's the most optimal, what would one reply?
Fuck off, you inane, moronic cocksplat. As a vegan, your IQ is clearly less than 100, and as such, you are not worth speaking to, you fuck-knuckle. That would be one approach. Perhaps I'd do that. I don't know, Ted would. That's what he would say.
Yes.
Basically, what that shows is a total lack of understanding of evolutionary process. Positive and negative selection pressures, Darwinian, all of that.
Okay.
Apparently, their name is a bit subversive, isn't it?
Dr. Robert Lustig, I know, I'm not going to read it. Dr. Robert Lustig says the soluble and insoluble fiber from fresh fruit prevents fructose from being absorbed in small intestines and liver. Is this true?
Only to some degree. Prevent is too strong. Also, fibre is contraindicated in the human enteric system. It's problematic, it seems. So, the proposed benefit of eating fibre with your fructose, very, very questionable, because the exact dietary requirement for fructose is not 1 single gram ever.
You can produce your own when you need it.
Yes.
What are your charges for your hour?
A casual consultancy runs at $350 or I have ongoing membership consultancy available at a $100 or $200 a month tier available on Patreon, which you can access from that bit.ly link under the show. Or if you are a senior on a retirement income, then you need to email me and we can do pro bono on the basis that you are no longer a wage-earning person. Also the same deal if you're a student. If you are an IBO in my Cerule IBO team, I won't charge you for consultancy. So that's a good deal too.
It's a very good deal.
It is, it's very good. I still think I'm probably undercharging, but I want to be as available as I can be to as many people as I can be, because that's the whole point. That's not about earning me millions of dollars, because I don't earn millions of dollars doing consultancies. I wish I did, but I don't. What's next?
I like to consume a small amount of MDMA on the weekend. Through the week, I like weed and microdosing LSD and shrooms. Is this pro-indicated for health? I've had some anxiety and brain fog.
I would suggest that MDMA is probably not the best idea. Weed really is very individual, depending on how you react to it, etc., etc. Microdosing LSD, again, probably not. Shrooms, possibly, depending on which shrooms and what level of microdosing. There is some indication of potential benefit in that. Plus or minus on any of those approaches, personally. They're not the sort of thing that I would suggest to a person.
If you need to do that every day, you have a problem that you need to solve, in my opinion.
Well, anxiety, it sounds like, and brain fog.
Yeah, but deal with it differently rather than just being dependent on microdosing on different kind of drugs, which I don't think is going to harm you necessarily, but, you know, would I want to be stuck in that for the rest of my life? Not really.
Yeah.
What are the harmful effects of fructose?
Well, one is that fructose is handled largely, not entirely, but largely by the liver, and it goes through a pathway which goes through an enzyme which is called the fast isoenzyme of the KFK enzyme, the liver-associated form of it, isoenzyme. What that does is it takes ATP, and instead of taking off one phosphate group to release energy for metabolic purpose, producing ADP plus PI, what it does is it rips off two phosphate groups at once, leaving behind AMP, which then is deaminated to IMP, thus leading to a reduction in the total purine pool, i.e. a reduction in the redox potential of the cells. Not a good idea. It leads the body to believe that the energy level is dropping, which it is, and to eat more and more and more. And if that's fructose, all that will do is drag your energy level down lower and lower and lower, while taking in vast amounts of substrate which can be stored only really as triacylglyceride fat. It's what's supposed to happen for a couple of weeks a year, just before the winter, when fruits and berries are naturally available, and it's the signal to your body to store some fat for the winter, not to be done multiple times a day, every single day, all year round. So there's one. The second thing that's obvious as well about fructose is the damage, the glycolytic damage, glycation damage, not glycolytic, glycation damage of fructose is somewhere between 7 and 11 times worse than for glucose. Really not good stuff, fructose. Yeah, there you go.
Really not good stuff.
Really not good.
We got some super chats.
We like super chats still.
Question.
Yes.
Carnivore for 2 years, workout 6 times per week, 1 times HIIT. DEXA scan shows lean mass increase and body fat decrease, but visceral fat increase. Any thoughts on why?
Well, it's a rich tapestry. It depends on what you're taking in what amounts, what the actual workouts look like, what your lifestyle is other than that, stress levels, your individual genetic makeup, the situation in which you place those genes. That one looks like a consultancy question for me to give you an accurate answer that would apply to your situation.
I would look at your hormones, which might be related to the stress. Workout 6 times per week.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think working out 6 times a week is indicated or a good idea. 4 maximum, and at high intensity, not 1 times HIIT. I'd do 4 times HIIT / resistance training. No endurance aerobic type work at all. I'd stay the fuck out of that. You can do as much very low intensity like walking as you want. Nothing in the middle. Yeah, that'd be the things I'd change immediately, even without talking to you, though.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to find my way back.
Finding my way back to you. No singing.
Can MCT oil be used to show someone the benefits of a ketogenic carnivore diet due to MCT going immediately into ketone production?
What are the benefits of ketone production, as far as you're aware? They're just a metabolic pathway, a normal metabolic pathway. They're just a consequence of normal metabolism. There are those that say ketones in and of themselves are anti-inflammatory. Perhaps they are, I don't know. I don't think so really, though, to any huge degree. There's nothing wrong with MCT as a valid part of your intake if you want. For example, if Pim was going to make some ice cream, she would probably use MCT in that.
It makes it creamier.
And MCTE. I don't know. I'm doing this. I don't know. What is this?
I don't know. Stress balls.
Well, something to do with balls, perhaps.
Perhaps. And I think it makes it less super hard when you freeze it because oil versus.
You said super hard.
Oh Jesus! How old are you?
Mentally.
Like 5.
12, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are pseudoscience.
Right. I'm the science, trust me.
I'm not convinced that carbs are bad. Just found your channel and would like to consult with you sometime and give Carnivore a chance. Google says you're pseudoscience, so must be onto some truth. Yeah.
If Google says I'm a pseudoscientist, then, that's a good reason to believe that I'm nothing of the sort. Also, my academic record seems to suggest quite clearly that I'm not a pseudoscience, or a pseudoscientist, I should say. My academic record seems to suggest that I'm an actual bona fide real scientist. And also, if people want to judge the veracity of things I have to say about science, all they need to do is binge watch my material and they'll get it. I do it with humour, I do it with abrasiveness, I use lots and lots of short words, as well as 1 or 2 longer ones. But I think overall, if you ignore all of the act stuff that I have to do to hook people and get people to view my stuff because they don't want educating, then you would have to, if you were remotely sensible, you'd have to go, yeah, this guy really does know what he's talking about. Whether or not you like the way I do it, that's another discussion for another day. But I can absolutely convince you of the reasons why exogenous carbohydrates in your diet are probably not helpful to you or pretty much anybody else. Absolutely, we can consult. All you need to do is go to that bit.ly link underneath the show notes, click on the go to Patreon and join one of those tiers. Or if you want to pay me for a casual, then it's $350 US by PayPal. My PayPal address is just my email address, if you want to find that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yes. Given that the potassium requirement is at least double that of sodium, do you think enough attention is applied to this electrolyte balance? Thanks.
I think there are very few people that genuinely do experience electrolyte imbalance issues, and usually it's because they did it wrong. Your kidneys generally tend to keep the balances of things pretty much within the range that they ought to be most of the time, so long as you're not doing anything stupid. Like listening to Paul Saladino. Mindless, absolutely inane rubbish. Everything the boy has to say, just about.
Rubbish.
Rubbish, or if you're English, it's rubbish.
Yes. I'm not eating any salt right now, and that's kind of hard because I don't want to have refeeding syndrome. So I'm slow on that. Any tips on reducing impact, eradicating hay fever? Mine is the worst it has ever been right now in the UK. I've been carnivore for 4 years.
Yes. 5 health hacks. Carnivore diets are all products in the highest intake that you can achieve. Electrical grounding and earthing for as much of the time as is practical and possible in your lifestyle. Blocking blue light when the sun is not in the sky. And high-intensity burst, repeat and or resistance training 4 times a week, 45 minutes or so per session at high intensity. Other things can be tried as well, but they're usually 1%ers.
Very nice.
That's my opinion anyway. Doesn't have to be anybody else's.
I'm 70, started strict carnivore in October 23. Around January, I fainted lights out twice on 2 occasions. Tried to fix with electrolytes, got a bit of a scare. I monitor blood pressure every day. It's normal. Okay,
there are a number of things that might cause such issues. That's definitely something you should talk to me about in the background by way of consultancy. Absolutely, definitely.
Yes, that's not
we need,
good.
No, we need to sort through that history and work out what's going on there, I think. And as a 70-year-old, you're probably a retired person who can send me an email and we can do pro bono on that basis.
Any chance that the so beneficial lowering of blood glucose levels by means of vinegar ingestion is actually disputing the Randall cycle and force feeds cells toxic glucose?
I have not used the intake of any significant amount of vinegar as any part of my suggestions to people at any time. If there is a mechanism by which vinegar forces glucose into cells, I'm not aware of it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I don't know everything. You tell me. Pluripotent protoplasm, that's a good name.
Here's a question that I don't see being a question, but we can try it anyway.
Yeah.
My MD told me that I should stop following advice from YouTubers after I told him about your channel and your advice. He told me to get on a statin immediately, eat a Mediterranean diet. Doesn't sound like a question.
That doesn't sound like a question. Right. Your MD is a fucking idiot.
I knew you would have an opinion about it, though.
Your MD is an ignorant, arrogant fucking idiot. And you need to fire that MD immediately. That person has no business being involved in your primary medical care in any way, shape or form. Get them fired today. Transfer my records, you fucking idiot. We're done.
There's your answer to your non-question.
There you go.
Advice for someone struggling with electrolyte deficiency on a carnivore diet.
First of all, make sure that's what's going on, which you would need to be a competent practitioner to be able to really do. Fucking spider!
Yeah, I was looking at that before. Do you know what I think? I think people just drink too much. And that's
Possibly.
what's actually causing it. It's not the diet, it's that you're drinking and you have to piss it out, and with that goes your electrolytes. I think that is a problem. So no fucking 8 glasses of bullshit every day.
So, gör som hon, eller skit på dig!
Gör som henne.
Sorry, there you go. That's what I mean. I'm always told you got it wrong.
I'm just trying to teach you to speak better Swedish.
Mm-hmm.
People will understand, but...
Yeah, sure, but they can also have a good laugh. Go, ha ha ha, that Swedish was terrible.
Is there a benefit to meditation? A doctor on YouTube called Dr. K said it's like psychedelics and can remove depression. Any thoughts on it, or is diet more your wheelhouse?
Yeah, the psychological stuff is closer to Pim's wheelhouse than mine.
My wheelhouse.
Control station, something that you use.
Yeah, there's absolutely benefit to it. Anything that you think or feel will affect your epigenetics and change your gene expressions long term or short term, but you need to keep it up to actually see anything. So it's like hard to understand maybe, but it does fucking happen, and it's pretty cool. But you can't just sit and meditate and not actually get into it and think that something's gonna happen.
Yeah. Hey, Eid Lashen. Hur mår du?
Bet he's eating meat. Didn't we have this already? Yes.
Yeah, we had.
Stop asking questions twice.
Yes, no
me.
asking questions twice.
Yeah,
This
I'll
is
get
off the
to
Queen
them.
of
I get
Pirates.
to them when I get to them.
That's it, or not.
Right now we are 10 minutes behind.
Bloody hell.
Due to my work, I must consume 5 days a week for lunch at either McDonald's, In and Out, I don't have a clue what that is, or KFC. These are the only options near my work. What item should I pick?
I would get yourself organised to take your own lunch to work. You can do that the night before. I wouldn't go to any of those places as a daily, weekly, ongoing thing. I would very, very rarely have anything from any of those, and never from In and Out, because we don't have that here.
What is it?
It would be similar to a McDonald's KFC sort of setup, I'm imagining.
Yeah, sure, but if they actually have decent food?
I doubt they do, if they're being put together in the same category as KFC and McDonald's.
Okay.
Also, I saw a thing posted recently where someone said, look, with the prices that, in this case it was McDonald's, are charging now, you can actually go to a restaurant and have decent food for the same money. It's not even cheaper.
And you know what? If you don't overcook it, cold steak is not actually bad.
Mm.
if you can't heat it anyway. I'm just saying.
Steak and eggs and steak.
Right,
That's what you
here's
should
a very
have for
important question.
luncheon. Delicious. Yes.
Slimming World, Weight Watchers, or go vegan? Ha ha ha.
None of those. None of those at all. No. No.
So Lynn says, I took Lactobacillus reuteri and Akkermansia microbes, stopped my diarrhea that went on for years, had C. difficile number of times.
Okay. Okay.
Crazy. What's wrong with anaerobic exercise?
Number one, humans are incapable of anaerobic exercise. That's a construct, it's an idea that's taught in exercise physiology, and it's false. So that would really end the question. You can't. It's impossible. And secondly, I never said that high-intensity exercise, which is what you're really referring to, is bad. I said the exact opposite. I said that's what you should do. You should avoid the so-called aerobic exercise. All exercise is aerobic, by the way, all of it. But when I'm saying aerobic exercise, avoid that, I mean really the middle zone intensity. So walking at 100 beats per minute or so, fine, as much of that as you want. Very, very high intensity resistance and or HIIT training, fine. Everything in the middle, aerobic stuff, endurance stuff, whatever you want to label that, stay the fuck out of there. Don't do that. Bad idea.
I feel a bit like Fluffy right now. I'm not tempted to go out for walkies today.
No, it's a bit
Just
rainy.
gonna do
It's a
this.
bit rainy, yes.
It's very rainy. I don't have rain clothes. That's not just a light drizzle. This is pissing down.
Det liten fitta
No.
has been deciding it was too rainy to go outside for seat, or wheat if you like. Yes, let's just shit on the carpet by the dog door because it's raining outside, so get fucked.
Yeah.
Have that, you cunts.
Glad you didn't have to clean that up.
Yeah.
Right. My doc told me to not consume salt. He
Yep.
said, avoid it at all costs. Also, Goethe seems to say the same. I was wondering if there's any merit to this.
Okay, anyone that wants to listen to Goetus is in the wrong place. Okay, because if you're listening to Goetus, otherwise known as Sperier, for anything other than your own amusement and edification, because he's so fucking stupid, then you deserve what you get. Sorry about that. Anyone that wants to listen to their doctor about anything at all related to nutrition, just because that person is a doctor, is really in the same category. They're both imbeciles, probably. Well, one of them definitely is an imbecile, the other one probably is too.
Right. What are your thoughts on Dr. Eric Berg saying you should have 7 cups of vegetables a day?
He's also in the category of people that are imbeciles. He's also a very smart businessman, and also very tall, it seems. About the same as Sean Baker. I saw him in a photo recently. I went, shit, he's tall. I didn't realise how tall he was. But that's got nothing to do with anything. No, it's wrong. Completely false. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Moronic. Contraindicated. Stupid. Also,
Okay.
if you want to look into Eric Berg and some of his theological ideas, the Scientologist.
Okay. Studies show that not liking the stream results in fried mealworms for dinner.
Exactly, yes. And also it results in late night visits from Yellow Ted. You don't want that.
And the same if you don't subscribe to my channel.
Correct.
And you will find a link where?
Underneath the show in the show notes, it says Pim's Fine channel, and then the link is there in a clickable format for you.
Yes.
Just click on that.
Just do it.
Yes.
Don't fucking argue. Just do it.
That's it. Don't question Pim. She is
The queen of everything.
Of everything.
Who would you rather have a meal with? Mick the Vegan or Cyrus Kambata? Ha ha ha.
Again, neither. I would not sit down with either of those individuals.
Stop
No.
asking about the fucking hay fever cure.
Yes. No more questions about hay fever.
Is there a way to deal with strong anger, and is it related to diet? A guy skipped me in the queue and I almost knocked him out.
Yeah, okay, that's something that you probably need to work on, I would suggest. Is it related to diet? Well, someone's emotional state absolutely can be affected by a number of things, including diet. But I wouldn't suggest that diet is the sole cause of a person's propensity towards acting out in such a way.
Obviously, what you eat will make your brain more or less inflamed, but there's so much more to it. I would probably work on your mindset a little bit.
Yeah.
Be cool, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, be cool.
What do you have against sardines? And do we have to answer this every week?
Do we have to answer this question every week?
And
Fuck, the echo's good in here, isn't it?
I said it first. And does this apply to frozen as opposed to canned?
Right. Okay. What I need you to do is go to that Lily Kane video where I mentioned that she should probably avoid eating quite so many tinned sardines and read the entire fucking comment thread under that video, because this question has been answered I don't know how many 100 fucking times. Go and fucking read it. There you go, you've been told.
You have been told.
Yeah.
My aim is to add muscle. What do you think about having 3 smaller meals? Will it trigger mTOR more times per day? Is that what it says?
The ideal for a person is to consume 1 meal a day, if that's at all possible. Do that. And why do you want to trigger mTOR multiple times a day? Is it because you've been listening to reductionists like Sinclair?
I cannot eat enough in 1 meal per day. I need to have 2.
Some people do struggle with that, but I'd still work towards 1 meal a day, and if that means you start at 2 meals a day and start reducing one of them and increasing the other one progressively, I'd do that.
Here's someone on your Swedish level. I'm not even going to read the Norwegian because he said something about Sweden earlier. I saw it on that screen. I haven't seen it yet. So I shall read that out and say, you are fucking wrong. I have to defend my country and stuff. You probably heard that some people claim supplementing with vitamin D is toxic. What are your thoughts on this?
It really depends on how much of it you take, in what form, and how it's presented. I.e., is it presented to you in a seed oil capsule? The best way to get vitamin D is to eat a species-appropriate diet and spend as much time as is practical in the sun during the summer, consistent with being in the direct sunlight at times of the day when your shadow is longer than you are tall. There you go.
Can I put the next one up?
Yes, you can.
I totally agree with what Pim said. Thank you. About drinking too much water and electrolytes. Animals only drink when they're truly thirsty and their urine is still yellow, never white.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, you have instincts that have developed over millions and millions and millions of years, precisely because your brain doesn't have any words that it can speak to you with. It has to give you a feeling. I feel thirsty. That means drink some water. And or some salty-ish water.
Cold steak. I'm getting hungry now.
Good.
But I'm not up to eating solid foods just yet.
Not quite yet, no. Not after 6 days of nothing, because that would be a bad idea. You shouldn't do that, by the way. If you do like an extended fast or dry fast, you need to break that properly. Don't just go hoeing into food. Yeah. That can throw your electrolytes off in such a way as to actually be dangerous to your life. Yes. It really is serious. Don't do that.
That's the refeeding syndrome. Yep. Oh, sorry, Snooze. Kicked her on the head.
Oh, poor Snooze.
She looks all confused.
Oh.
She's like, what did I do? Why is Mummy abusing me? Poor dog. Okay, push it. Are there any implications of chronically elevated glucagon, cortisol, norepinephrine, and epinephrine? How low carb affects thyroid long term?
Yes, there are absolutely implications / complications with having various things in your body elevated above where they ideally ought to be for an extended period of time. Low-carb diets can affect thyroid if they're not done sensibly.
Come there.
Like if you do it wrong.
Come.
But a low-carb diet that's sensibly put together and properly applied will not cause a problem with your thyroid at all. Isn't that right, Professor Snoozy?
Kicked in the head.
Oh, I wouldn't stand for that kind of shit if I was you. I think she's altogether too mellow and puts up with far too much.
From Puffy, you mean?
Well, oh, Snoozy.
You have a yucky beard.
Oh, she always has a yucky beard. Look, there's fucking Cerul product in there. You can see the green stuff in her beard.
And probably kefir as well, because she got some left over.
Right, good.
Yes,
Yes, the dogs takes the rule daily as well. You just throw the capsule on the floor, and this one will go, and the other one, of course, Princess, you have to open it and pour it on her food.
This one is the capsule. It's all good.
Yeah.
Guys, put a capital Q in front of the questions. I see a lot of questions that don't have a capital Q.
That's good, though, because it means there's new people here.
Yes,
which is
and it also means that I don't have to read them.
Well, yes.
But I shall. What's wrong with macadamia nuts, sir?
Well, they come from plants, and plant stuff is not food for human beings. They contain a potentially problematic fatty acid profile. They will contain all sorts of things like lectins. People can react very seriously to these kind of things precisely because nuts are generally seeds, and as such, they're really not supposed to be eaten by animals. You're supposed to swallow them whole and shit them out somewhere else so they can germinate. The plant doesn't want you to chew it up, remove its, any of that. And so the plant, the nuts react to that by releasing toxins that will fuck your shit up.
Fuck your shit up.
Fuck your shit up, yes.
I can just tell you anecdotally, I've never had a problem with nuts, but I've never been a big nut eater. So
I can confirm this.
Fucking rude.
Carry on.
I don't think I had any nuts for a long time, like over 6 months, and then I just got some macadamias and I got extreme lower back stiffness, like around my hips, that sort of thing. I tried it with pistachio, same thing, and I think I've done it with almonds as well. I get the same thing from all of them. So clearly they're very inflammatory for me. I'm not saying that that's the case for you, but just because you don't notice anything doesn't mean that they are good for you.
Yeah. Richard, it seems like you need to report to Ted after class, along with the Master Chief and Shelley. It'll be a party of 3 so far. Good to see you, Rich.
How many eggs can you eat a day? How many can you?
I don't know. You tell us how many eggs you can eat a day.
Yes.
How many should you eat? Well, that depends on what else you're eating.
Eggs are yummy.
They are.
I would eat many. I used to eat 5 a day.
I can't eat that many because I tend to start getting a bit dodgy on eggs over a certain level.
But you've been eating fried eggs the last couple of days.
They've been good.
Yes.
Yes.
If people say you need veg to reduce free radicals, does just eating meat do the same?
It does, yes. Because when you eat meat, that causes an increase in your plasma levels of various acid anions, which actually act as antioxidants.
I have to supplement with magnesium every evening for a bowel problem. Do I also need to take calcium and combination with that to prevent magnesium deficiency?
That's a question that you have phrased as being with respect to you specifically and not a generalised question, and as such the answer will have to be, well, then you'll need to consult with me so that we can work through your history to work it out whether you need that or not. Possibly, possibly not.
I read on the internet that tablets are only absorbed 50% compared to liquid-filled capsules. Is this true? Context is taking multivitamins.
Depends on what you're talking about. It's an individual case-by-case thing. Badnasta.
I have never done a fast. I have read about it and now plan to do a dry fast for 14 days. Anything I should keep in mind? Yeah, don't do it.
Yes, don't do a 14-day dry fast. And certainly not as your first fast. No. Start with 24 hours.
Water fasting first.
Water fast first, if you like, yes.
Yeah.
Start with 24 hours. Work up to 3 days. Give yourself a decent break between the 1 and the 3. Do a second 3-day. Wait several more weeks. Then do 7 if you're going to. I wouldn't personally do anything longer than 11 days dry because the Phoenix Protocol book says there's no benefit in so doing, and it can get quite risky by, day 11 with no fluids at all.
Many people say you shouldn't do 7 without being monitored. So if you live alone, then do it.
No, not sensible. Yeah.
Don't be a fucking idiot. Literally. And I wouldn't necessarily go to 7-day water fast. Or if you can do 3 days of water fasting, you can probably start experimenting with dry fasting. Okay, how do you break an extended fast? There are many schools of thoughts on that, I guess. If it's a water fast, I would start with bone broth. Then I might add some protein and maybe do an egg drop soup or something like that after a few hours. So don't do it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, like if you're going to eat meat, I would just make sure that it's kind of pre-digested, like pressure cooked or cooked for a long time in a broth or something like that. Because you want to get your electrolytes up to scratch, even if you've been drinking, let's say, snake juice or whatever.
Mm.
If it's a dry one, what I did yesterday, I started with water for several hours. Then I added kefir. It's not recommended to add kefir necessarily, but it's recommended to have some probiotics, so fuck it, I did that. I drank way more kefir than I should have. Then I had some broth in the evening, but I don't really enjoy broth without the salt, so this is a problem for me. But you can have anything that is kind of easily digested. Later today I'm going to have an egg drop soup. That's going to be my first, like real, can I say real protein food? I mean, there's plenty of protein in kefir, but yeah. Just go slow. And if you've been doing a dry fast for as long as I have, you shouldn't be consuming any salt for at least 3 days. Just potassium and magnesium, which I have been taking. Because those are more depleted when you're fasting than sodium is.
Mm.
How often can one consume MDMA and shrooms in a large dose without causing damage to serotonin or other brain structures?
Who knows? Individual, case by case, your genes, the environment in which those genes are placed, what you're doing otherwise, all sorts of things. I would not be taking either of those things in a large dose ever, or probably in any dose personally. Possibly I would microdose shrooms out of interest because I've seen a lot of stuff about that. But it's unlikely that I would go that way for any reason. I just wouldn't be doing either of those things probably.
It's like with everything, it will release a lot of dopamine as well. I mean, the more you take of it and the more often you do it, the more you're at risk of not feeling great in between when you're doing it. So
drugs are bad. Why?
In previous live streams, you suggest that in order to prevent problems with thyroid and kidneys, that you need to do OMAD. I'm not understanding you correctly.
No, you're right. You're not understanding me correctly. Quite so. No, what I said, in fact, was what you need to do is take sufficient protein in one bolus in any given day. So the best way to do this is just to eat once and eat sufficient protein in your one meal. You need an amount of protein to cause a slight diversion in your insulin, a bump, more than one of those great big spikes you'll get from eating carbs. You just want a little sleeping policeman. And that is enough to prevent problems with thyroid, renal function, etc. That's the answer. Not pouring in carbohydrates, as per what Saladino did. And now he's up to something like 800 grams, by the way.
Carbs per day?
Yeah. Because he's juicing as well.
800 grams?
Yep.
That's so much.
Yep.
I can't even imagine what my blood sugar would do.
Much of which is fructose because he's both eating fruit and honey and juicing.
I mean, 800 grams is more than the average person would eat on a standard American or whatever diet.
Okay, so he's 4 or 5 hours a day he's active doing surfing and exercise and whatever else. That's why he staves off some of the obvious problems that he would clearly show if he wasn't doing so much activity. But what is not being staved off is the clear and patent damage to the cells of his body by both fructose and glucose. It's written all over him. All you need to do is look at the boy and compare that to a video taken of the same individual even 3 years ago. It will stun you.
Crazy.
If you haven't seen that already.
What do you think of methylene blue?
Jury's out for me on that. Not sure.
Okay. Is it better for digestion and nutritional value to eat raw meat?
No. Not necessarily.
Best magnesium source on carnivore diet?
Meat. Muscle meat.
What are your thoughts on ADHD and its treatment?
Not too much. It's not really an area of a speciality. It's not my wheelhouse.
Not mine either.
I would suggest, however, that those 5 health hacks are likely to have a positive impact on ADHD.
Yeah, and I think even if you have ADHD, if you want to train your brain, you can do that. But it's going to be a little bit more effort than for someone who doesn't have it. Is it normal to feel like one's brain changed significantly since starting carnivore? I'm 25 years old now and feel very different from 20 or even 23.
Yeah, probably. I didn't start being anywhere near fully carnivore till I was well into my 40s. So, I don't know.
Should you use topical magnesium cream and not pills or powder as it reduces bowel problems?
You can absolutely do that, but I would tend, if I was going to use it topically, to just put it in a spray bottle with water and just spray that on your skin. Because a lot of these creams and things contain non-Christian ingredients.
Is it okay to eat pork instead of beef twice a week?
Yes.
Yes.
You have my full permission to do so.
Let me rephrase my question.
Yes,
I was
please.
always told that you had to take magnesium and combination, regardless of my health context, so they don't deplete each other. Is this generally true?
It still depends case by case on what's going on for you. You still need to talk to me about it so we can work out what the most likely answer is for you, given your circumstances, etc.
Is avocado okay to eat?
I wouldn't personally, but you can if you want to.
And what about cheese?
Cheese is fine in whatever amount, I think, pretty much. I mean, I don't eat a lot of cheese myself. There are others that eat more cheese than I do. Fine, it seems.
What's your longest water fast?
Hers or mine?
Well, it's the same, so you can answer it anyway.
My longest water fast is 7 days.
Yeah,
Yeah, 7 days it was. So it's hers. I wasn't sure
we
whether
did it together in
I wasn't
agreement.
I wasn't sure that you haven't done it again since longer, and I wasn't planning.
I'm not a huge fan of water fasting. I'm so fucking hungry doing that. That's why I love dry fasting.
Bro, you have a disability.
Yes, thanks dry fasting.
Mm.
Have you tried adding manuka honey to your kefir?
I wouldn't do that, personally. Honey is sugar. You don't need sugar in your diet. Bad idea.
And how much protein bumps you out of ketosis?
It's individual, but it seems pretty much like you take in 2 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass per day in one meal, and that seems to circumvent these issues 99.9 something % of individuals. So it's probably somewhere less than that will get the job done, but I still think you just take in your protein requirements, do that in a single bolus by eating once a day. Jobs are good. And
how not to undereat on a carnivore diet? I'm 3 months in. Sometimes I can eat barely 1,500 calories. I'm 6'2", 75 kilo male a day, even if I have a resistance training. Also, I poop once in a week.
Okay, you're clearly new here. Welcome. Welcome very much to this community where you'll learn a lot. Not just from me and Pim, but also from Professor Snoozy. She has some good ideas. Ted, I'm not sure whether you should listen to him so much. Fluffy, she's a dick and she just shits on the carpet when she feels like it anyway, so probably not. Other members of the community, good sources of information too, especially those who have their names in blue with a wrench afterwards. Right, okay, so number 1, calories. No, you can't eat calories. Calories are not consumable. That's an idea.
Okay,
it's a wrong idea. It's
again?
nonsense. Get that idea out of your lexicon.
Oh, I don't know.
What is important is that you consume sufficient carbon skeletons in the form of fatty acid molecules and protein, pretty much. You don't need any carbohydrates at all. Forget about trying to count numbers like calories and stuff. It's completely pointless. It's completely worthless. It won't help you whatsoever. The idea is to start eating when you are hungry and to stop eating when you no longer feel hungry, because that's what's evolved in your brain. It's a message to tell you how much food you need to take in. The only instinct that you ignore in terms of so-called food is you ignore every instinct that you need to put sugar of any form into your body, because you don't. And that also therefore includes all forms of carbohydrate, because they all break down to sugar. 6'2", congratulations, I'm not. 75 kilos, congratulations, I'm also not that. A little bit less, I am. You do resistance training, that's a good idea. And you poop once in a week. So clearly you're in your first few months of being a carnivore. Oh, there you go, 3 months and it says that. That will come right to the point where you'll go every other day or possibly every day, depending on how much mass of food you're taking in. You need to give your body a full 12 months to adapt fully to the carnivore lifestyle. This is not a 5-minute adaptation process. Stick around this community, stick around this channel in particular. Also, good other channels that I'll mention straight off the top of my head that are the ones you absolutely can trust and listen to. Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Ken Berry, most of what Dr. Sean Baker has to say. Fine. There are others as well. I'm not going to go through an exhaustive list of ones that you can trust, but they are 3 that I would go to straight away. People that you absolutely cannot trust and should not listen to are anyone telling you to take any amount of carbohydrates in at all. Anyone that says that, done. Not worth listening to. Wrong. I hope that covers it.
Super Chat.
Super Chat, we love those.
Thank you for your work over the years.
Thank you for your money today. And whenever else you've given us some money too. Ted will be very pleased.
Right, so we are nearing the end.
This is the end.
Not many questions now unless you super chat, but here's one.
Yes.
I've read caffeine affects absorption of vitamin D and iron, etc., and makes it harder to hold water-soluble vitamins. Is this something we really should be avoiding?
There's no place in the diet for coffee, he says, having had 2 coffees this morning, but that will be about what I'll have for the day. Maybe one more after this session. 3 would be about my maximum. I used to drink about 12 cups of coffee. That was really bad for me in a lot of ways. And yeah, so coffee is a recreational drug. It's a toxin. It's flush with thousands of different alkaloids, which are all contraindicated for human metabolism, etc. Absolutely, yes, there can be electrolyte issues, vitamin retention issues, etc. with coffee. If you're drinking more than 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, you should probably look at getting that down to 1 or 2, in my opinion.
Wouldn't staying in ketosis for a week instead of fasting give some of the same benefits?
Only if you believe that being in ketosis or having ketones is in and of itself beneficial, which I don't believe, so I don't think so, personally, no. And I also think staying in ketosis for lengthy periods, like months on end, like ketogenic people tend to feel like they want to do, that's also a very bad idea in terms of thyroid function, in terms of renal function, in terms of all sorts of things.
Yes, I missed a super chat. So apologies, Junk Rig Sailor, but it comes out now.
Yes.
If tall ship sailors in the age of sail, e.g. Cook, Tasman, Drake, have not had that gruel slop, then do you agree if they had stuck to their salted meat and fish, they would not have got scurvy?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Scurvy is not a thing that is experienced by people who consume only animal products. Turns out animal products contain perfectly sufficient vitamin C for a person who is not consuming carbohydrates. Thank you for the 10 New Zealand Pacific pesos. We like New Zealand dollars, but not as much as we like American ones because they're worth less.
And that is the last question.
The last question. Excellent. Good. Good. Tracy, have you just got here? Jesus Christ.
I think she's been here.
Okay. If you did just get here, you can join the Master Chief.
Whatever.
Richard, Shelley, and whoever else came late. You can meet with Ted after class for Ted's administrative correction procedure.
Very good.
Good. yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much that's it. Invisible penis.
It should be invisible.
Invisible penis. This is an invisible penis here. I think Pim should stick it in her ear. That's not Pim's ear, that's mine. Goodness, you can't get the help, boys and girls. Anyway, join us next week for more of the same, only slightly different. But first, before you go, steak and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for your breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard.
You fuck now.
We got it. Okay, see you next week. Be good.